In Turkey, wrestling is not just a sport. It is a matter of national pride. But the idea of professional women wrestlers is still a foreign concept.
Greeks and Turks all see this as one of the traditional sports. Through time, it became an Olympic sport. That's why, it's seen as a national sport. But when it comes to female wrestlers, it's totally different story. I mean, they see it as a male thing, basically. Women athletes and wrestlers, they don't mix together. I think that's, a cultural thing.
They don't give importance to wrestling because it's quite new for women to be involved with wrestling. Women wrestling is not popular in Turkey because Turkey is an Islamic country.
Very few parents would encourage them to become one. They would say why don't you try swimming, why don't you try tennis, skiing, more gender appropriate sports. And or when she decides to become one and gets a trainer, starts training, she would meet a lot of prejudice again. Her friends may not like it, or it could be hard for a female wrestler to find a date. They would think she's a lesbian maybe, or all kinds of negative associations.
Turkish male wrestlers have won 57 medals in the Olympics, and it continues to be a very popular sport. However, Turkey started participating in international women wrestling championships only since 1998.
But when you meet a tennis player, she would be probably saying, I worked really hard. But the wrestlers, on the other hand, would say, this is a, Turkish thing. We take pride in our, strong, ancestors, and we maybe inherited this from them.
Now, the national women wrestling team is wrestling social prejudices, lack of resources, and institutional support. Wrestlers continue to practice 2 to 6 hours a day just for the love of the sport. Other athletes wear shorts, a swimmer wears a swimsuit. Gymnasts are wearing different clothes, but what we are wearing is outrageous for people. They don't like women wrestlers. They don't want it. There is no proper training center where I can practice. I go to the stadium and work out under the stairs of the stadium. It is very cold. It smells. There is no place for me to take a shower. We don't even have health insurance. I lose around 6 or 7 kilograms every year. I have gastritis, injuries on my neck and my ears.
There is prize money for men at the competitions, but there is no prize for women. We protest and struggle to change this. It is not fair. But I believe that if we succeed, then sport will automatically come.
Female wrestlers say the Turkish media often ignores them, and the little coverage they get tends to be sexist.
It doesn't matter whether male wrestlers win or not. They get a lot of media attention. Even if the girls win, there is no coverage.
When they're covered, you usually see very small photographs. You would have soccer players, or say important soccer game. You would see big pictures, many of them. And if during the same week a female wrestling team won a championship, you would have a very small, story on it, briefly mentioned. Also, when they make it big, when you see, these if you see a big photo, it's usually something she did outside of her area. So if she was caught with someone, if the female athlete was caught dating another celebrity, or if she also modeled for something, or usually outside her field of expertise, if she somehow got involved in a scandal, doping, somehow dated her coach, that would make it big, in the news. It's really sexist, yeah. Men would go to watch these competitions for different reasons. They could even perceive it as some kind of fantasy. We were talking about the painter Bedri Baykam's bar in the 90s. You know, he would have female wrestlers oil wrestle in his bar, and I mean, this was I mean, he himself said it. You know, this was a fantasy of mine, and I'm happy to realize this. And many people who were into this kind of thing, like, would go there, they would just take photos, they would cheer the girls. I mean, so it's more like a fantasy than, you know, like serious sports.
Despite odds, the women wrestlers are practicing hard for the 2011 World Wrestling Championship and the 2012 London Olympics. When I wrestle, I'm always thinking that the Turkish people will support me. That motivates me. Before I step onto a wrestling mat, I always pray to God. I believe I can do something that will make Turkey proud.